You know, I've seen a whole lot of things in my time. You know, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not too old either, though. You know, I'm in my 40s, early 40s. And just, what the hell is this? You know, I understand freedom of religion in this country. You know, I understand what that means. Why somebody would want to worship the devil is really beyond me. I mean, sure, go ahead, but, you know, I thought we had separation of powers. But I guess that would mean taking any mention of God and Christianity, Muslim, Buddhism, all of that out of any state capital. If that's what it means, whatever, but it just... What the hell is this? Can anybody please leave a comment down below? What is going on in this country? Like I said, I understand freedom of religion, but why would you want to worship the devil, incarnate of evil? It doesn't surprise me, though. The Democrats are crazy, y'all. The Democrats are crazy. The UN votes for Gaza aid. The U.S. abstains, right? They didn't vote. Why? Why would you not want to help the victims of a war? I don't get it, y'all. I really don't get it. What's going on in this country right now? I've said it before. We got to stand up and fight. If you have conservative values, if you have any values whatsoever that align with doing the right thing, please stand up and fight for your country. These people are evil and they're trying to take over the country. They've taken over several institutions. Your colleges are just about gone. Which brings me to, what's up, everybody? How the hell's your day going? I hope you're having a pretty good day. This is Legitical Response. We cover news, mostly political news. Try to keep the people informed on what's going on in the government. We take on the mainstream narrative machine. We read stories out, and then we put them through the logic test to see what's really the deal with their bias. There is heavy left-leaning bias in the news media these days that they just don't want to relinquish. They will give you the truth from a perspective. They won't just give you the truth. I try to offset that a little bit by putting some of this through the logic test and just kind of going through it and thinking about these things rationally. So, if you're interested in keeping up to date with things like that, smash that subscribe button for me. Turn on your notifications so every time I pop out a video, it'll come up in your feed. And if you could, hit that like button. I would be very appreciative of that. But let's go ahead and get into some news for today, folks. Yep, we're talking about Joe Biden again because the absurdity of this story is just beyond me. And at this point, I've said it a few times, I don't understand how people can support Joe Biden at this point, unless they are completely oblivious to what's going on with Joe Biden. We just had another story come out showing 54 emails from Joe Biden to Hunter Biden, specifically about business dealings, Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings. Now, I know you may be tired of hearing about this, but this is very, very concerning. Hunter Biden was doing some very underhanded stuff, proven by the House Oversight Committee and James Comer. And if Joe Biden was involved in this stuff while he was vice president, because some of these emails date back to as far back as 2009. So Joe Biden had just became vice president at that point, and he was supporting his son's foreign business dealings. And this just proves how corrupt Joe Biden is, and the fact that people can still support this guy. Like I said, they have to be oblivious to what this guy represents. Check this out, y'all. Biden campaign and year-end memo argues democracy on the line in 2024, and I could not agree with that any more. However, it's not what he is talking about. The democracy that is on the line is being threatened by the left. Here we go, y'all. The Biden campaign on Thursday outlined its arguments and strategy for the president's re-election bid, focusing heavily in a year-end memo on the threat former President Trump poses to democracy. Now, I would really like for somebody to leave me a comment down below. How does Donald Trump pose a threat to democracy? I would really love to know that. Biden campaign manager Julie Chavez Rodriguez laid out how the campaign is building out its operation in key states and fine-tuning its message as the calendar turns to a presidential election year. The memo made clear that the central focus will be on warning voters about the threat Trump, the likely GOP nominee, poses to democracy and basic freedoms. Like I said, how does a democratically held election, a democratically voted in president, threaten democracy? Leave a comment. There are deep fears about our freedoms being eroded and our democracy being dismantled. Election denialism, efforts to undermine our country's democratic institutions, and forces that aim to restrict the right to vote itself. All at the direction of Donald Trump, who remains a real and credible threat to our democracy, Chavez Rodriguez wrote. Right. How does Trump? Please explain how Trump is a threat to democracy. This is very, very hypocritical, especially coming from this person, because the Democrats have essentially gone insane, folks. Okay, first, in 2019, they're scared that Trump will get reelected. So what do? Several key states, they changed the rules around voting to allow less restrictions on mail-in ballots, around the drop boxes, and all this stuff, right? So they can have people, have activists go door to door, remind people, fill out your ballots, vote for Joe Biden. Trump is a threat to democracy. Then they take those ballots and go put them in a drop box. They changed the rules without the approval of the state legislature. Okay? You might say, whatever. It's legal, right? So they do that, and they beat Trump in 2020. Okay? Through, suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story, which polls have almost proven would have changed the outcome of that election, because then we would have found out all the stuff we're finding out now, how corrupt Joe Biden is. So they suppressed that story to get Joe Biden elected, to keep his slate clean, essentially. Now, some people might argue that they are undermining democracy in that. Well, apparently that's illegal to do because of the rules around mail-in voting, ballot harvesting, which is what I described earlier. Somebody coming to your doorstep and saying, hey, fill out your mail-in ballot, I'll drop it off in a box for you. Ballot harvesting. So they do all that, they win back the presidency. Well, that's not going to stop Donald Trump, right? He's got way too many followers for that. So Donald Trump announces his campaign, and what do? They start putting together all these indictments, thinking, well, this will slow him down, right? It only builds on Donald Trump even more. So now they're going into Banana Republic territory, where they're just outright indicting political opponents for the purposes of undermining democracy. They don't want you to want to vote for Trump. But it has a backfire effect, right? This only makes Trump surge in the polls. It only makes support for Trump go even higher. So what do they start doing? They start whinging. Now, what are they trying to do? Just sit back and look at what is going on, and you will see it clearly, folks. The real threat to democracy is not coming from Donald Trump. Donald Trump when he gets voted back into office, will be voted in through democratic means. They're trying to take him off the ballot so that you don't have the chance to vote for him. How the hell can we call that democracy at all? Leave a comment. As we look toward 2024, the American people should expect to hear more from President Biden, Vice President Harris, and our campaign, drawing this important and sharp contrast, but also about how this fundamental difference between the candidates impacts our future, she added. Polling has shown a close race between Trump and Biden, both of whom are on track to be the likely nominees for their respective parties. A New York Times Center College poll released this week found Biden leading Trump by 2 percentage points among likely 2024 voters, while a Fox News poll conducted in the same window found Trump leading by 4 percentage points. Chavez Rodriguez wrote that the public should expect to hear more from Biden and Vice President Harris, drawing a clear contrast between the campaign's beliefs and those of Trump. She specifically referenced Trump taking credit for bringing about the end of Roe v. Wade, which protected a woman's right to kill their own baby. Yeah, it doesn't say that. It says a woman's right to abortion, but that's the same exact thing. They just don't want to put it that way. Trump's support for tax cuts for the wealthy and his proposals to curtail transgender rights, among other proposals. See what they're trying to do? They're not trying to curtail trans rights at all. I haven't heard Trump say anything about that at all. Let me know down in the comments if you have. The Biden campaign has in recent days highlighted Trump's comments that he would not be a dictator except for on his first day in office, which is taken out of context, as well as the former president's comments that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country, which the Biden officials have compared to Adolf Hitler's rhetoric. This is what the mainstream narrative machine does. If you go and you read what he said, or listen to what he said, he says the left are destroying this country. They're allowing these migrants to come in, poisoning the blood of this country. He's not saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country. He's saying the Democrats are poisoning the blood of the country, which they are. They are overloading our systems. They are pouring in 10,000 people a day just at Eagle Pass. We can't handle this. Okay? I love immigrants. I don't love illegal migration because I've said it ad nauseum. It's not the immigrants that are really the problem. The flood of immigrants, sure, that's a problem. But these immigrants are bringing drugs in because a lot of them are forced to work for the cartels. That is a problem. That's why there is a legal migration system in this country to vet these people coming in. They'll get searched when they come in. They can't have drugs. That's why we have legal migration. That's why Trump was building the wall. Not to keep people from coming into this country, but to force them to come through ports of entry so they can be vetted, so they can be searched to make sure they're not working for cartels to poison the blood of this country with drugs and fentanyl and human trafficking and all this other crap. The mainstream narrative machine just wants to get its way and cares less about context, cares less about truth. The campaign detailed how it planned to scale up its efforts in the new year, thanks largely to a massive war chest Biden has cured, while GOP donors have split their money among Trump and other primary candidates. Biden closed the third quarter of 2023 having raised $91 million for the campaign, and the president has been on a fundraising blitz in recent weeks and close of the year. Chavez Rodriguez said the campaign would have staff in place in every battleground state by mid-January, and she hinted that Biden and Harris would ramp up travel around the country in the new year. Harris has already set to kick off an abortion-focused tour of battleground states in January. We are treating this election like it will determine the fate of American democracy, because it will, because if Joe Biden gets voted back into office, we are just going to continue to see a decline. Every single day, Donald Trump and the extreme MAGA Republican Party are telling us the quiet part out loud. If they take power, they will do everything they can to dismantle American democracy and continue stripping Americans of their hard-fought fundamental freedoms. I would love to see anywhere where that was stated by any Republican at all. That pissed me off. I'm sorry, but the Republicans, Donald Trump in particular, Vivek Ramaswamy, they are fighting to keep this country intact, okay? They are fighting to take power away from these corrupt Democratic leftists that are trying to destroy the country, essentially, and turn it into some kind of, I don't know what the they're trying to do. It's hard to see what they're trying to do. But allowing all these migrants to come in like this, just bringing drugs into the system, they don't care about the American people. It's destroying communities all along the southern border. Now it's destroying New York, Chicago, all over the dang place, okay? These cities are tired of these migrants. We can't handle it. We don't have the housing. We don't have the resources to be able to help these people. They're going to come here and they're going to be living like homeless people. That's why we're trying to keep them out. This just doesn't make any sense, folks. They're using it as some false compassion or something like that. Oh, we should allow everybody to come in. Well, we can't handle that. We don't have the resources to be able to handle that. How is that compassion? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. They're undermining democracy at every single turn, and yet they're trying to say it's the other side doing it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just not how it is. And that's all I got for this one, folks. I could keep going. I could keep running my mouth, but I'm trying to keep these videos to a certain length, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think about all this. You know, is democracy gonna get destroyed? No. Neither party is gonna destroy democracy. There's never, ever gonna be a dictator. Joe Biden's not a f***ing dictator. He has authoritarian tendencies. So does Trump. But are these authoritarian tendencies meant to hurt people? No, they're meant to help people. However, the kind of help coming from Joe Biden and the left is not helping, folks. It's hurting. They don't seem to care about the southern border at all. That's why they're fighting tooth and nail to stop Texas from enforcing its own laws. It's in a video I covered the other day. If you want to go watch it, I would suggest watching all of my videos. They're kind of informative. But, like I said, that's all I got for this one. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all think about all this. And y'all try to have a good day and be positive. Peace.